Okay, great. Thank you, Eric. Always thank you, Karen, behind the scenes, doing our tech, um, hosting and everything, which is important. So thank you all. This is a team effort. So it's not just me sitting down, it's people marketing, doing emails, answering your questions, getting these Zoom rooms set up, um, and then waiting patiently on me to do something, which I'm usually on my own timeline. So that's hard. Not so much for me, maybe, but for other people.
Not very hard.
It's very diva-ish, diva-ish activity, So I realize what's happening there. So thank you. And thank you to all of you for being here. And joining us. Some of you, as Eric was saying, have been coming for a long time, maybe since the beginning, um, almost 5 years ago. So we'll be planning something, I think, maybe like a 1 day online thing sometime, early at some point. I think I think we used to do that actually, but we didn't quite do it this year. But we're gonna do that. There's lots of material information, right, about medicine Buddha, that I think is really important. So we'll be thinking about that. And of course, welcome to those of you who are new to this space as well. It's so wonderful to have you. This is Medicine Buddha. I like, Eric, how you were like that. This is Medicine Buddha, just in case. I love that. I think that's important because sometimes we don't know what we're getting into. You hear like Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye opening up the session, right? You're like, is this a dance party? Is this a Christmas party? What's going on? No, it's the ancient practice of Medicine Buddha. I don't know why we don't think of Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder in the same thought as Medicine Buddha. I just don't get that. In my head, that's really obvious, you know. But I guess not so for a lot of people. So anyway, welcome and thank you for being here. And I just want to start with a question as we move into our practice. I just want to ask you how you're doing. I just want to do a little check-in. If you haven't done a check-in for yourself, let's do that. Like, how are you feeling? What's going on? You can post in the chat if you want to share as well. But this can be totally personal. But I just want to know, I want you to know how you're doing. Right. I just assume everyone's feeling like shit. So like that maybe that's my assumption. You don't need to tell me how you're feeling. I know how you're feeling. I get that. Yeah, but how are you feeling? Like where are you at? How was your day? Right? What felt joyful today? What were you grateful for? Right? What was challenging today? Where's your body at? Where's your body and where's your awareness? Right? Where are these things at? What are you mourning? Right? Like, what are you trying to let go of? And this is a trick question, what are you looking forward to next year? You know? And what's keeping you going? What's keeping you getting out of bed and being in the world? Right? What are you dancing to? Right? What are you singing to? Right? Who are you spending time with? Right? Where are you taking refuge at? There's just a bunch of questions. I'm just going to keep putting things out. you know, just whatever question seems dynamic for you, work with it. Just to arrive here, right? And as I'm arriving, I'm going through these questions as well. Like, I'm just noticing lots of things. I'm noticing my own grief, which is always present. It's not a big deal. Grief is just it's what it is, right? Um, just feeling my body. I'm feeling the seat under me, right? I'm feeling the earth, which I'm always grateful for. And what about your fear? Where's your fear at? And if you have questions too, just put those in the chat box. It's like, what do you want to know from people? Right? It's a great rate. This is a great way not to feel so isolated and alone when we come together like this. We share where we're at. You can say, oh, so and so is also feeling like this. Um, how are you intentionally distracting yourself? Which I think is a very, very full question. What are you choosing to distract yourself? So I know someone is, right? Because it's hard to stay in this frequency that we're in and not want to like change the channel a little bit. And are you happy? Are you happy? Are you tired? Have you been tending to your brokenheartedness? And how is your magic going? You know, are you doing your magic? Define magic, redefine magic, and whatever makes sense. What's your magic? What are you practicing? What are you welding right now to protect and to defend and to benefit yourself and others? Why are you here in this space right now? What did you come for? What do you think I have to give you? Courage. I feel like I'm the Wizard of Oz. I just saw Wicked last night with a friend. I'll be going to see it again. It was my friend's second time. I was like, I just need a date. You need to come with me. I can't possibly go to the movies unescorted, because apparently I'm a Victorian woman. And it was after dark, so I'm like, oh, I don't do after dark. I'm strangely going to refrain from talking about Wicked. I've been, on a little series, but I'm a refrain, you know. But my favorite part of the Wizard of Oz myth, narrative is that like, Dorothy and the Tin Crow and the crew, like they already had what they needed, right? And the wizard just shows up and says, "Listen, I don't have anything to give you. Like you already have. You have a brain, you have courage, right? Like you can go home anytime you want. You just have to believe it. You're unlimited." the healing work is beginning right now. Like the awareness, the practice of beginning to tell ourselves the truth, even though it's hard. And to say that you're struggling isn't like you're not alone. We all are, right? We're all struggling. It doesn't matter how good people look in the struggle. And some people do look good in the struggle. I have to give it to their skin is great. They look rested. I get it, you know, and good for them, right? But literally, we are all struggling, no matter how we're signaling that struggle. Right? So I'm struggling with you as well, right? I am pushing through practice. I am dealing with my own fear, right? And my own doubts, my own insecurities, right? I walk through the world knowing that I can be a victim of all kinds of violence, like the young people today, I think in Wisconsin, is it Wisconsin school shooting? And this is it, right? It's not so, this experience that we're having right now in this realm, what we would call samsara traditionally in Buddhism, what I often call the carceral state, the mental, spiritual carceral state. Like this is supposed to happen, you know? And this is why we're trying to get free. This is why we're trying to develop the agency to make different choices, right? This isn't the only show in the universe, but this is the show we're stuck in right now until we learn to practice to experience the true nature of these experiences. Loneliness, despair, rage, trauma, isolation, these are all expressions of this emptiness, right? Which is very difficult, right? To wrap our minds around that, like all of this shit that I'm suffering with, even the suffering itself, is this expression of this emptiness, this experience of space, this experience of potential that's being shaped by our consciousness. And for me, this is my doorway back into space when everything gets real intense. Like I have to come back to this contemplation, the nature of reality, the nature of phenomenal reality is inherently free. Everything is already free. We're already free, but we just forgot that. And this is why beings like Medicine Buddha, even though, we can think of Medicine Buddha, the Buddhas, or even Buddhism as mythology, which is fine. It's a mythology that works for me, right? But it gets whatever works, right? So Medicine Buddha can be super real, tangible, a real experience, or Medicine Buddha can just be this experience of energy moving, things being opened and awakened, things being released, right? The science, of yoga, particularly channels and nadis and energy pathways, it can just be science, right? But at the end of the day, does this help me to experience emptiness? Like if it does, then we call it dharma. And this is where I always go to, that this body, this moment, this world, this administration is a moment that we have done over and over and over again. There's no way to count the moments that we've lived over and over again in bodies and realms. Right? But again, we don't remember that. Right? But I trust you, you've done this before. And since you're here, right, since you're interested in this shit, I would say you probably did it pretty well to be back at it, right? To be still interested in this. You don't have to believe in this potential for freedom I'm always talking about. I'm just like a broken record. Freedom, 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 liberation, liberation, liberation. So many people, I have so many critiques lined up for me from people. What do you mean by freedom? Blah, 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 this and that, right? But you have to figure this out for yourself. Like, you can't just sit around and let me tell you what to think, because I'm not a cult leader. I personally do not have the patience to be a cult leader. I cannot be responsible for your shit. I don't need to know where you're at. I don't need shit from you. I don't need you living around me. I'm the anti-cult leader. Right. We're not gonna live together. You're not gonna touch my shit. You're not gonna make my food. I don't know where your hands have been. I'm very like, no way. You stay over here, I'll be over right here and right. And when the teaching's done, you go somewhere else. Like, I'm not trying to like tell anyone what to do or what to think. I'm just like showing up, right? I just kind of show up. And I take this seriously, right? I know that like I'm always giving pep talks, but like I think that's what a teacher is supposed to do. Like I'm resigned to that. I remember Reverend Angel would be like, "Oh, you have to keep telling people things over and over and over again." When I was a young teacher, I was like, "I'm only going to tell you 3 times." Like I was just going to teach like I was parented, right? But that doesn't really work anymore. And I realized, oh, I'm just a broken record. I have to just keep saying the same thing over and over again, because quite honestly, my teachers just told me the same thing over and over and over again until I started taking it seriously. Right? So it's a little pep talk here, right? You still believe in freedom? Or have you ever believed in the potential to get free? The potential to be free right now. Freedom not meaning things disappear. Freedom means, in this case, in the body, there is space for me to respond. I have choices. Right? I don't have to choose contraction and rigidity. I can choose space. I can choose fluidity. I can remember I am unlimited. I'm very fortunate, quite honest, I'm very fortunate to have been in this life as a Black person, because I have become grateful, really. Another strange statement Lama Rod is about to make, so hold tight. I am grateful for this experience because it really gave me motivation, right? To get to a point of saying, you know what? I don't believe in what I'm being told about who I am and what I deserve, right? And there was a fire that was lit in me many years ago, early on. As soon as I came into this life, there was a fire that said that like I can get free. I can choose liberation, right? Because there are so many people who've done it before me. right? I can do something. I don't have to believe the narrative about how I do not belong here. Right? So when I talk about, we had Chinreze practice this weekend. So when I talk about love, I just like, there's a fierceness. And it has to be fierce because look at what the alternative is. Look at what we're being forced to believe about ourselves and about our right to be resourced, and safe and well and happy. Like you have to be fierce. There has to be a fire there. Right? Sometimes it has to be aggressive. You have to get aggressive sometimes about your right to be here, to take up space. A government can legislate all kinds of shit, and it does. As someone who comes from a community like many of you, identity locations, where the fucking government has to like legislate our right to be human, right? You know, coming into this context, right? Like you have to let go of this, like, oh, the government is going to validate me. Fuck a government, honey. Doesn't mean, right, that like it's not important. It doesn't mean that like, you know, I'm completely like pushing it to the side. But what I'm really saying is that like we should have the authority, the ability, the agency to name ourselves and to choose how we need to be in the world and to be in dialogue with others to understand how to live together in a way where we're not creating harm for one another, but at the same time, there's space for people to be happy and resource. There's got to be that. Dr. King believed in that. Like, there's got to be something. There's got to be a way to do that. But I can't keep expecting someone else to make decisions for me. I can't keep expecting someone to do the work of self-love on my behalf. I can't do that for you. Right. I can show you how it's done, but like I wish that I could just like jump into your mind and just awaken self-love, self-care, and like get rid of all the suffering and the delusion. Right. I wish I could do that, but I can't. And it's heartbreaking. Right. It's heartbreaking not to be able to do that for people and to watch people suffer. And this is all I can do. Because if I do more against your will, then it just becomes another form of violence. That's the nuance that we're holding right now. And you have to come into relationship with that and tend to that nuance, which is for me, it's like this intersection. It feels like it's intersection, and this intersection, like there's this tension. And so much of my practice is learning how to hold that tension, right? And to wait until people are ready for the medicine that I'm pouring, right? Nothing else. I have to wait. I have to wait till you show up. Like, I have to wait till you find me, and then I can pour medicine, and you're consenting, you're always consenting. I just want to point that out. You are always consenting, right? You should not be doing anything with me that you're not enthusiastically consenting to. So you can check in, check out anytime that you want. I'm not holding anyone against their will. You're voluntarily here, right? But you have to be in choice with so much. And I want you to have choice. This is why I teach all of this. You know, I want you to have choice. I want you to believe that you have a right to be free. Because quite frankly, you are already free, right? You're already free. That there is a different freedom, a different liberation, right, that's waiting for us when we start choosing this, when we start choosing this path, right? That we're more than this moment, we're more than this world, we're more than our bodies and our identities, you know. I mean, it's the perfect time to get into Wicked, but it's also a perfect time to actually practice because that's why we're here. Practicing isn't listening to me talk, by the way. I know I blame you, but no one's like, Rod, keep talking. You know, it's the voices around me, literally the voices around me. Right? Who's like, just keep going, keep going. You're on a roll. I am actually, right? But I just can't stop thinking about alphabet. You know, it's going to be Neo or Alphaba. You know, I'm choosing Alphaba right now. It could be Baby Jesus, actually, but maybe we're not going to do that tonight. But yeah, like it's just the hope, like the hope, the light, the return. When things get dark, the light awakens, right? But you have to choose it. You know, you have to choose it. And I don't do everything correctly. I'm not perfect, right? You know, and I think I make that pretty clear, right? Considering I'm always forgetting shit, you know, unintentionally remixing Dharma because I forget all these fucking stages of everything, right? You know, I'm just like, obviously, right? I mean, you're looking at the result of a Harvard education right here. This is as good as I'm not saying this is as good as it gets, but this is the as best that I can do. Um, Yeah, this was just on my mind, you know, just I just wanted like always, this is always gonna be something I'm coming back to over and over again, just like offering ourselves the grace of just opening to how we are in the moment and then dreaming about other ways that we can be. Like, I know it feels like we've been put in place and we can't get out of that place, but you can. And this is why I offer these practices, because these practices have helped me to reimagine who I am and what I am. It continually inspires me to make different choices. And it's messy, right? And you have to get over it. No mud, no lotus, right? No mud, no lotus. So if you ain't willing to get dirty, then you ain't ready to get free. You know, as Mother Harriet teaches us, if you ain't ready to crawl through the dirt, right, to escape, then you're not ready for this because you're going to be doing more than crawling through mud. And it's worth it. And it's worth it. So let's practice this. Let's practice the healing path of freedom as awakened by Medicine Buddha and all of the retinue that arrives with Medicine Buddha. All the retinue of healing spirits and guides from many cultures, many paths in this world and beyond, calling all these beings held by the compassion of Medicine Buddha and all of the great awakened ones. Now, lit my candle. My candle is lit. Right? And I light this candle now to remind you of your radiance, right? That beneath or within what feels so confusing and bewildering and overwhelming, there lies the radiance of our own awareness, the awareness that permeates everything, that awareness that's waiting to be trained, right? To be taken seriously, to be held. This is the light of our Buddha nature, our awakened nature, that's always burning, even though it may be covered up by layers and layers of confusion. Even in the darkness of this season, as we're waiting for light to return to the world, we tend to this inner awakened nature through practice. That in this light resides all the Buddhas of all the realms and all of the 10 directions, as we would say. And this light, which is a portal, I think, a doorway, is present for all of us. And even now, just as we enter into this door of practice, I invite you, if it feels safe enough for you to do so, to close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's fine as well. Always consents, enthusiastic consents.
What's letting it's on?
Because Mama was paper stuff.
Is that Shay?
That sure was. It was Zach and Shay.
Our youngest participant, Shay.
Baby.
Hey, Shay. Hey, Shay. I have a relationship with Shay.
Hello.
Hey, I miss you.
I miss you too.
Oh, I wish everyone could miss me.
I miss you too, Lama Rod.
Oh, that's two. Thank you, Zach. Yay. I get lots of reports about people's kids, and they're like, just like they're just like into this. They're like, "What's Lama Rod doing today?" I have friends like they'll be like, "What's Lama Rod doing today?" Nothing exciting. I promise you. But returning to the practice, so, like, again, just inviting you to close your eyes and to imagine this flame, this light. Particularly, I would say in the heart center, right? And allowing that flame in the heart center to really radiate throughout the body. And just doing this really casually, really informally. It's just a very informal warm up here. Right? But just awakening this flame being our own awakened nature, our awareness, right? It can be the portal for all the Buddhas, right? It can be our compassion, it can be our love, it can be our fierceness. And I reflect on this flame in my heart center. What comes to me is just the flame holders, the light bearers, right? The beings who stayed loyal, who took refuge in this reality, this potential of remembering, of awakening. the people, the beings who never gave up, right? And as you're like holding this flame, we're going to turn our attention to our first mantra, Mila Sangeki no Soha Medicine Buddha. Please think of me, remember me, look upon me, hold me. And as we chant this, I want you to imagine that you're chanting or just listening to it, because you don't have to chant. Again, agency. Just imagine that everything that you're hearing or chanting becomes an offering into this awakened flame in our heart centers. That the mantra is like adding fuel to this fire and feeling the strength of this fire, this light, expanding, growing, deepening, getting more intense. That intensity is the awakening or the arrival of Medicine Buddha, of the consciousness of Medicine Buddha. Because when we supplicate or call in a Buddha, that Buddha is present. But we are expressions of Medicine Buddha at the same time. So in a way, we are chanting and calling to our most awakened expressions. So again, we'll begin with chanting Om, and then chanting the mantra 3 times, and then ending with an Om. Okay? So we'll begin. Om. Om Mazange Hino So Om Mazange Hino So Om Zange Hino So Om. And I just invite you to imagine this light, this flame growing stronger and stronger, beginning to illuminate our bodies, illuminating all the muscle and bone and tissue and cells and organs, all the way into our atomic expression. And this light, this radiance, what does it represent for you? What is this radiance offering you that you need? right now, be it courage or energy or inspiration or fierceness. Allowing yourselves to be held by this light, this expression of our true natures, also the expression of Medicine Buddha. And what would it be like? What would it feel like to allow your body to become a doorway, a vessel for the radiance, for the awakened consciousness of all the awakened ones, all the Buddhas, especially Medicine Buddha? To begin to relate to our bodies in this radiance as something sacred and divine, regardless of what systems tell us our bodies are or how our bodies should be. In this moment, allow this radiance, the blessing of Medicine Buddha, to let us experience our bodies as awakened, as wise, as caring, as resource. Letting this illumination, this radiance even begin to hold and tend to everything that we're struggling with and everything that is struggling with us. And in this space, we turn our attention to the main mantra, Teata Bekenze Rasu Sumongate Soha, which you will find in the chat. What would it mean for you if you choose to do so? What would it mean to surrender to the light? To surrender to being held by Medicine Buddha and all the Buddhists, to be held by the mantra, which we can say is the speech of Medicine Buddha. Not to do anything, not to practice through all this effort, but to rest, to open, to allow, to trust that we're being deeply tended to, not just by Medicine Buddha, but by all of these accompanying spirits and deities, some of whom have been part of your life, part of your ancestors' lives and ancestry for countless generations. Can you open to their care, allowing the light, the radiance to protect you at the same time? Just be in the light. Let the light take care of you. We'll begin. O te ata begenze begenze ma begenze razu sunungate soha. Te ata begenze 같았소아 제양다운 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 제안다운 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 제안다운 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 대야자온 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 대야자온 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 대양자온 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 제야자온 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 대안다온 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 백은세 마백은세 라스수문 같았소아 대야자온 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 백은세 마백은세 soha. Deyanta umbegenze begenze ma begenze lazu sumungate soha. Deyata umbegenze begenze ma begenze lazu sumungate soha. Deyanta umbegenze begenze ma begenze lazu sumungate soha. Deyata begenze 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 begenze ma begenze 라즈 수문같이 소아 제한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문같이 소아 제한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문같이 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문가를 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 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문같이 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 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문가를 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문가를 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문같이 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문같이 소아 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라즈 수문같이 소아. So just turning my attention to our prayer requests, beginning to uplift these requests. I call again into our space, into our practice, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the Yidams, the Dharma protectors, to all benevolent spirits, to all benevolent ancestors, to the elders, guides, and guardians of the lands that we're living on and the elements as well, all beings of light and all directions. I call on you to hold this offering of our prayer requests, to partner with us, to work with us, and on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers for the benefit of all beings. We offer prayers for my friend Dee and her partner as they navigate this difficult time with their health, offering prayers for Tutu and her babies. May she have an easeful labor, and may they be blessed with good health and peace. Offering prayers for me to rest in the lap of the mother at the heart of every moment. Prayers for me to rest in my divine nature often. Prayers for Roxy and I to have a restful, restorative, and joyful holiday despite all the drama. A prayer request for all our beloveds and all beings experience deep care, safety, dignity, and belonging. Prayers that I receive guidance on how to proceed with my mom. Prayers for Father Ruiz. Prayers for Lou, Mom, Dad, and all those feeling sick in the hospitals today. For all who lost a sibling, for Sarah, and all feeling worn down. May we all remember the faith we carry. Prayers for my Aunt Jelaine, still recovering from severe stroke. Offering prayers for my father's surgery tomorrow morning, that it may be successful and safe for him, and may his anxiety and fear about it be eased. offering prayers for my heart to accept the vicissitudes of healing, knowing that nothing worth doing is linear, offering prayers that I may accept and love this fat and fabulous body, offering prayers for myself that I may have compassion for myself and my dear ones during this upcoming big transition. Prayers for S to experience stability in her mind, heart, and healing in all areas. Prayers for all beings to have exactly what they need and that the carceral state be abolished shortly to reveal the beauty of liberation, relative that it is. Offering prayers for my health to improve and for my anxiety to ease. Prayers for my home and for it to be peaceful and healthy. Prayers for all who are in house and are those who left their homes due to it being unsafe. Prayers for all of us to be held by the Buddhas and guided to solutions for well-being. Prayers for N and R for all precious elders to be free and joyful. Prayers for Lama Rod, all Dharma keepers and their magical teams to be free. May all beings in all timelines and realms reach swift liberation with ease. May all forms of harm be abolished immediately. Asheo. Prayers for Carlo, whose hostile slum lord is trying to exacerbate her precarious living situation by undermining protections and withholding maintenance and repairs. May she be protected. May her dignity, peace, and space be shielded from his greed and cruelty. Offering prayers for my recovery for all who seek relief and recovery from addictive patterns of all kinds. May all beings experience liberation, peace, serenity, and joy. Prayers for my recovery community that all may find the sobriety that they seek and receive healing from any and all underlying suffering that may be needed. Offering prayers for my healing from cancer, treatments, and for long, deep remission. Prayers for M and R, may they experience healing and freedom. Offering prayers for my dad, who is suffering from a debilitating disease, who started a hospice. Prayers for his ease and his happiness, and my mom, sister, and brother to have strength and courage during these difficult times. May we enjoy and support my dad any way we can. Offering prayers to my sister, her wife, and 3 children who are all processing and healing from childhood trauma. Prayers for myself, so my confusion, anxiety, and fear may be lifted. May I see my own strength. Prayers for my husband, who's sick again for fear of losing him. Prayers for the return of full mobility in my neck, shoulder, and arm. Prayers for clarity and discernment to create an alignment with my values. Prayers to my mother, to Mother Earth, as she holds, loves, and teaches all living beings. May we remember her and her love fully. Prayers for Blakely's health and her chronic pain. Prayers for liberation and forgetfulness. Offering prayers that I may be resourced well enough to make it through the next week of work without getting fired or being messy or petty when people try me. Amen. Prayers for the healing of my body. Prayers for Linda as she goes through chemo. Prayers for Cynthia that her arm be healed. Prayers for the world's view of Palestine, that we see and respond to them as human just like us and refuse to engage in violence against them. Prayers that portals continue to open for divine love, synchronicities, and deep ease and abundance. May we be held deeply and may we be free. Just coming from an intense evaluation of my neuropathy, prayers for guidance and calm and clarity about treatment choices. Prayers for my good friend SG, who just found out she has a slow growing cancer, lung cancer. Prayers that she has everything she needs during this period of testing and waiting to see what the scope of this is, what treatment and prognosis she will have. Offering prayers for all of us as we navigate the tragedies that the decisions that our so-called leaders have caused and will continue to cause locally, nationally, and internationally. May we all hang in there, be there ourselves and for each other. Practice steadily and surely during this period. Regardless of the time involved, may we find inspiration from our ancestors from the past who did exactly that. Offering prayers for Kayla, Jeff, and Al, Mariel, Carlos, and Kathy. Offering prayers to my newborn self when I was in foster care, prayers that I may continue healing from my separation from my first mother and the subsequent separation from whoever took care of me in the first months of my life. Offering prayers for Leonard Paultier, may he be freed and allowed to go home to his native lands and live and die in peace. We continue to offer prayers for the complete abolishment of all systems of harm and violence. May all the beings in this universe who see and understand the struggle, the suffering that we're moving through in this world system, may they come to our aid. And may bodhisattvas and Buddhas arise. May we remember our courage, our strength, and our love. And may we endure and then turn this endurance into survival to bring about this new beloved world, this new world where all beings are liberated, where we center care for all beings, where everyone, all of us, have what we need to be well, safe, happy, and resourced. May we bring about this new world as quickly as possible. May we all get free as quickly as possible, and may this happen as quickly as possible, and may it be so. We offer these prayers to our sources of refuge, to the assembly, the Sangha of awakened beings. We ask that you work with us and on our behalf to bring about the fruition of what we most deeply need for ourselves, for our beloveds, and for our collective. May it be so. And turning our attention back into our mantra work, allowing ourselves to remain grounded and centered in this light, but if we feel resourced enough, imagining that we begin to radiate this light into the world like Tara, radiating her essence in the sky out into the world, leading beings from the shore of suffering to the shore of freedom, like Tara, the star, the northern star that is guided and protected in many ways. So many beings trying to get free, trying to get home, trying to get to safety. May we in this radiance become a guiding star for all beings who are lost, but more importantly, may we become a guiding light for ourselves so that we take refuge in our own capacity for wisdom, for love, for deep care for ourselves and all beings. And may this be so as quickly as possible. So turning back to our mantra. O te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze ma begenze razuzumunga te soha. Te ada begenze begenze 같아 소하 대한다 온백연세 백연세 마백연세 라수 수문 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 같아 소하 and just returning back to the light, this flame, this awakening in our heart center radiating out into the world. I just invite you to offer a final blessing through this radiance, out into the world, a final blessing for the world. And whatever however you want to phrase that blessing. But my blessing is that may we all be free. If not now, soon. Everyone and everything, may we all be free. And just taking a moment as we begin to transition out of the practice, taking a moment to offer deep appreciation to all these elements and parts of our practice that we've been relying on. Everything that's helped us to practice, from Medicine Buddha to our lineages, to the seat that's holding us to the lands, to the elements, to our bodies, to our breath, to our minds, everything, anything, everything. Thank everything for this practice. And gratitude to everything, even the things that feel like hell, that feel like shit, the things that we struggle with. We offer appreciation to even those things. Because in this struggle, we're being taught how to get free, how to reduce suffering. May we always tap into the medicine and open to the medicine that everything is trying to offer us, even the things that we want to hide away from. May we even consent to drinking the medicine of those things as well. May we find wisdom in everything. And may we use this wisdom to make different choices for ourselves and for our world. And you can allow this light to come back to recollect into the flame within your heart center. Allowing your bodies to re-emerge, feeling the weight of your body and the seed rising to hold you. And may you always remember and take refuge in this light, especially in moments of intense darkness. May you remember the light that is an inherent expression of your awakened nature. May you hold on to this. So returning back to the seat again, grounding, beginning to reawaken your body through simple movements as we turn our attention to our closing prayer found in our chat. And we will again recite this 3 times. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to all, to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support May I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. Right. Thank you all so much for your practice tonight. And again, just a reminder, if you would like to sponsor a candle along with a prayer, just go to our website and do that. And I'll be offering that this weekend as well. Right. So, any other announcements?